What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Shunda Jenkins and I am a vegan holistic coach. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you my meal prep for the week. And so this video is going to be broken up in my breakfast, my lunch, and my dinner. So my lunch and my dinner are pretty much the same. I like to change it up sometimes, but it's easier for me to prep the same thing for lunch and prep the same thing for dinner just because convenience. So for my breakfast, it's going to be something easy. Pretty much everything I'm going to be showing today is really easy. I already have my vegetables in the back prepped and cut up and washed and ready to go. And what I like to do is eat a lot of vegetables that I don't have to cook, so that will save me time with prepping. All right, so let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to be sharing with you is how to make my breakfast. And I'm also have notes in front of me because I want to write down how much macros and nutrients and the calories that are in each of my meals. And so you're going to see me look down, you're going to see me writing things down, so when I get finished with this video, you know how much that you're going to get in each bowl. And so the simple bowl that we're going to be doing right now for my first meal would be my breakfast, and it's overnight oats. I'm going to be using the old-fashioned organic oats, and I just got these from Trader Joe's. Also, you're going to need a banana. And also, before I get into this video, there's 6 meals per each meal. So for breakfast, there's 6. For lunch, there's 6. For dinner, there's 6, okay? And I think I lost my pen. Oh, here go a pencil. This will work. So for my breakfast, you're going to need a half a cup of oats. And so a half a cup of oats is 160 calories. So I'm going to write down 160 calories for oats. And then I'm going to look at how much fat. There's 2.5 grams of fat, there's 29 grams of carbs, and there's 6 grams of protein. So I'm just going to put that down. Protein is 6, fat is 2.5, and then carbs is 29 grams just for my oats. All right, so now the banana, I'm going to be using half of this banana, and this banana is going to serve as my sweetener for my oats. And then I need a cup of water, which I already have my waters right here, so I can just use it. I won't have to go back and forth to the sink. And then I'm going to be choosing the Complete by Juice Plus. It has 140 calories per 1 scoop, and I'm using 1.5 scoops, so that's about 100 and actually 210 calories. So I'm going to write that down, 210 cal for the protein. And that will give us about 21 grams of protein. That's with 1.5 servings, so 21 grams of protein. We got about 30 carbs and 2 grams of fat. And then water, you know, has no calories. I'm going to look up the calories. Actually, I think I wrote down the calories for banana. So for a half a banana, it is 44.5 calories. Carbs are 22.8 grams. And then protein was 1.1 gram. It doesn't have any fat in bananas, okay? So what I'm going to do is measure it all out, and I'm going to pour it into these bowls. Now these are just my meal prep bowls. They're so small that I really do not trust mixing in them because I think I'm going to make a mess. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make each individual bowl one at a time. And here I have a fork to mix it up, and then I have a knife to cut my banana. My banana, I'm going to lay it down at the bottom, and if you want to, you can drizzle on some lime juice to keep it from turning brown. But they're okay. They just might turn a little brown if you have them on top. But if you put them down at the bottom, you don't have to worry about it because it's protected by all of that stuff. But if you want to add an extra layer of protection, I also can do some limes. Limes are low in calories, so you can add some limes also to it. So I'll just get out me 3 limes, and I'm going to add that to limes. And you need a knife for that. All right, so get out my oats. Just a half a cup of oats. And then I'm gonna scoop 1.5 scoops of my protein. And with the half, you just kind of have to eyeball it. And like I said, this is the Juice Plus protein. So if you want to buy the specific protein, then I can include a link below and you can buy it off my website. If you want these macro, you definitely have to buy this one, because I have another vegan protein that I use, but the macros are different. So I decided to go with this one because this one was lower in sugar and carbs, so it's low glycemic. So I have a 1.5 in there. Then I'll measure out a cup of water. So this is just some water I just measured out earlier. Just 1 cup of water. And then what you want to do is just mix it all together. And this protein kind of reminds me of like birthday cake, but it's just vanilla. Now if you want chocolate oats, of course you can try like a chocolate protein. That also will be available on my site that I put below. You can also purchase the chocolate kind. So you really don't have to have vanilla. You can just choose a protein and making sure they stay within that calorie limit if you're trying to use this, or if you just want to make the recipe, then you need 1.5 scoops. All right, so for my banana, I'm just going to take half a banana, and what I'm going to do is just kind of how I do my half a banana, just to make it a real true half a banana, is that I actually cut it in half. So by going down the middle, and that ensures that I actually get half a banana instead of trying to eyeball it in the middle. I can just go down the middle, cut it, and cut my slices. They don't have to be small, they can be big, it's whatever, because I like to make them about a 1/2 inch, and I just put them in there. And it's in the afternoon, and my daughter is here with her friend, and so you might hear some kids in the background. So if you hear some kids in the background, just know that's what that is. And I'm just rolling my lime to get the juices rolling. All right. Cut half of my lime. Squeeze it on top. And you want to just squeeze it on top of the whole banana. Like I say, you don't have to do this. This is just if you want to prevent it from turning brown, then you'll do this, okay? All right. And I got a napkin right here to keep my hands clean. So I got all this stuff around because I just wanted to make it easier. And then I'm just going to pour it in here on top, keeping my banana at the bottom. And I don't think this bowl, I knew this was, and see, the reason why I poured it in here is because I wanted to see if this container, it said this container is supposed to be 12 ounces, but I think it's smaller than that. So I'm just ended up just pouring it in this. I'm not going to use these. I'm just going to use these, okay? See, it's a good thing I tried it in here first. So pour that in there. And you start with the next one. That will be your meal. So I'm gonna calculate right now how many calories we're at. I'm gonna get my phone out. Like, I'm good at math, but I'm just gonna use my calculator because I'm thinking smart. So for one meal, we had 160 calories. That was for the oatmeal. So 160 calories. You have 44.5 for the banana. And then we did not use any milk, we just used water, so that saved us on the calories. So now we're gonna add in our calories for our protein, which was 210. So 414 calories for your breakfast. 414.5 cal for your breakfast, okay? And then when you think about how much protein that is, you had 6 grams of protein in your oats, and then you also had 21 grams of protein in your protein powder, and then your 1.1 gram from your banana, so that's 28.1 grams of protein. And then for carbs, that was 29 grams of carbs for your oats, and then for your banana we were at 22.8, and then for your protein it was 30 carbs, so about 81.8 carbs. I think I did that right. So carbs, yeah, so 81.8 carbs. All right, so now I'm gonna go into finishing up everything. So again, a half a cup of oats, cup of water, add your protein, and it doesn't matter what order you do. You can do the water first, you can do, you know, it doesn't matter. It's all going to go into that same container. And I'm doing all of these. So 1 and a half. Mix it all together. And then I'm going to take my bowls, because I'm going to put these up. I'm not using these. I have to use the other ones. I'm going to take my bowl. I'm going to chop up my banana and put it on the bottom. And then I'm going to add my lime. And then I'm going to add the mixture to the top and go on to the next one. You want to get all of it out if you can. Option to do a lemon if you have a lemon, but if you don't have a lemon, then you just do it with a lime, or do it, you don't have to do it at all. It's just an option to keep your bananas from turning colors, and then you just add this on top. Yum. All right. And now I'm going to go into our next one, which I'm going to share with you how to make your lunch and share with you how to make your dinner. All right, so now I'm back to show you how to make what I'm going to be having for lunch and for dinner. And so the first meal was 414.5 calories, and then my next 2 meals are going to be high, and they're going to be also high protein. This total meal for all 3 of these meals is about 1,868 calories. And so the breakdown is 239 carbs, 239 grams of carbs, 138 grams of protein, and 44 grams of fat. And if you're trying to eat a diet that's high in protein and you're training to compete, or maybe you're wanting to decrease your carb intake or decrease your calories as it go by, then what you can do is use the amount of protein that I'm using and then decrease the amount of carbs in these recipes. And so instead of 1 cup of quinoa, the next week you'll do half a cup of quinoa, and then you increase your vegetables that have lesser carbs but have more protein. And so what I'm going to be using is quinoa as the carb that I'm going to be using, and it also has protein in this. So I'm just using Trader Joe's organic white quinoa, and I'm using 1 cup per meal, so 1 cooked cup of quinoa per meal. And then I'm also going to add in some microgreens, which are going to be some mustard greens. I'm going to have maybe 1/4 to a cup. I'm just going to grab a handful of those. Some sprouts, and these are really low in calories. I believe they were about like 15 calories. And then I'm using some sprouts, and you can choose whichever one you want. This is just to add more nutrients to my bowl. And what I did is I washed them and then just put them in my salad spinner so that they'll be dry when I get to them. Also gonna need some mushrooms. I'm using white mushrooms. I'm not gonna cook these mushrooms. Feel free to cook yours, but I'm not gonna cook mine. And I'm gonna have 1 cup of mushrooms per meal. And so mushrooms have a lot of protein, and they are low in calories. And so when you do decrease your quinoa, which is going to take away some of the calories, is also going to take away some of the protein. So you can up your amount of mushrooms to keep that amount of protein in your diet. So mushrooms are really high in protein, so you can use those. And then for my main source of protein, I'm going to be using tofu, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to marinate this and what sauce I'm going to be using. And then I'm just going to cook that on my stove top, and that'll be what I'm going to use in every one of my meals. I'm just going to show you how to make 1 batch of it, and then I'm going to make the rest of the batches to go with everything else. So the first thing you want to do to make it is to cut your tofu up into pieces. I measured out 182 grams of protein. I'm sorry, 182 grams of tofu. And so what I did is just cut the tofu up, and then I used a scale and measured out 182 grams, and that gave me about, I think it gave me about 30 grams of protein when I did the calculations. Also, I have my Fitness Pal pulled up to tell you exactly how many grams of protein that are in this particular one. It is 30.4 grams of protein in that particular tofu at 182 grams. Now if you do half of that, then you're going to be getting 15.2 grams just for the tofu. And then for the quinoa, you're getting 12 grams of protein. Okay, so anywho, alright, so to do your tofu, to marinate it, I'm going to be using this soy ginger sauce. And I'm using this one because it's only 15 grams of 15 calories, and it has 3 grams of carbs and 2 grams of sugar. So I'm going to be using this one because it's really low in calories and it's flavorful, and I like ginger. Now you feel free to choose what type of marinade that you want, but also keep in mind that if you choose something that has calories in it, that's also going to be going into your daily calories for the day. And so I chose 15 calories because I know that that's not really a lot of calories that's going to be added to my meal, and I'm going to be using that twice. So 15 calories in my lunch and 15 calories in my dinner. So what you want to do after you've measured out your tofu, you want to put it in a glass or some type of container that you can shake up, because this is what you're going to do. You're going to marinate your tofu. So I like to cut mine up small enough so that they can sit on the bottom of a dish. And then I'm just going to measure out 1 tablespoon. And feel free to add like spices or herbs that you like. Feel free to do that. What I'm going to do is just season it with some onion powder. And then I'm going to also add some garlic powder. Now you don't have to do this. You can choose whatever you like for yours. And then I'll just put it in here and just shake it up. And then you can also use, some people use cornstarch. If you want to use cornstarch, you can add cornstarch in it, shake it up and cook it. I'm not going to use any cornstarch. If you want it to have more texture to it, the cornstarch will help with that, but I'm not using cornstarch. So I'm going to let that sit while I layer my bowls with everything. Alright, so we're going to have some zucchini, which I spiralized the zucchini. That's going to be 1 cup of zucchini. You can also do half a cup, just depending on, this is 3 zucchini, so I'm just going to kind of like play it by ear. I might have to use half a cup of zucchini, so I might have to change the amount of calories that's going to be in this meal, which is okay, because zucchini is really low in calories. And I'm just going to lay out my plates. You can see all of my plates. It's going to be enough for lunch and enough for dinner. So I'm going to start with just 6 of my plates. I also have some spring mix. What I did with this is I just washed it and I used my salad spinner to get all of the extra water off of it, so when it is in this dish that it won't get like, you know, everything will just stay fresh the whole time. So you want to have about 2 handfuls, so about 2 cups of greens, and I'm just going to start with my greens, 2 cups of it. So about 2 handfuls of this, and you really want to pack these things down, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Alright, so now I'm going to add on some tomatoes. This is just some regular cherry tomatoes. I'm going to keep mine whole because just keeping them whole is going to keep this as fresh as you need it to be fresh, because it is going to be sitting in the refrigerator. So I'm going to have my cherry tomatoes, and then I'm also going to use some quinoa, which I said earlier, you're going to need a cup of quinoa. And what you want is to put that quinoa on top. That's going to go on top, and then you're going to layer all the other vegetables. I've almost forgot my little my scooper. So this is just a half a cup scooper, and I'm just going to put it on top. And what I like about quinoa is that with quinoa I can eat it when it's cold. Caitlin, let's turn it off, baby. Alright, I'm going to put my whole cup of quinoa in it, as you can see. And I'm just going to layer all of the dishes, all of the plates, I'm sorry, like that. I don't even think I put enough of spring mix in that one. It's like skimp. I think I only put 1 handful in this one, because it looked kind of skimpy. Alright. And I'm just using some quinoa that I had left over. And I cooked some more quinoa earlier, so I'm just going to use that for my bowls. So the rest of them I'm just going to bring over here to get my quinoa. I'm going to continue to put the rest of them on. That's 1 cup of quinoa. 2 more. Alright, so now that you got your quinoa on, then you can add on your rest of your vegetables. We're going to have some mushrooms, we're going to have some zucchini, we're going to have some sprouts and microgreens, and then we're also going to have some tomatoes. So I need a scoop. I need my 1 cup scoop because I'm going to need that for my mushrooms. And then for your sprouts and your microgreens, what I like to do is just grab them and just put them on my plate, so it doesn't really have to be a certain amount. I know I'm not going to put a whole cup on there, and I know I'm not going to put like a whole half a cup, so it'll probably be between a half a cup and 1/4 cup of how many actually go on there. So with my mushrooms, I do want to measure those out because they do add calories to the meal, even if it's just a low amount of calories. I just want to measure those out. So 1 cup of mushrooms, and I'm just going to sit them on there. Just going to be some raw mushrooms. Now feel free to cook your mushrooms if you want. I just washed mine and cut them up. And it was about, I'm trying to think how many containers, 3 containers of mushrooms. So 3 8-ounce containers. And you want to make sure you pack it down to make that 1 cup. With eating the mushrooms like this too, you kind of get some of the water from the mushroom because you're not cooking it down too much. So you know how mushrooms, when you're cooking them, they make a lot of like juices. So you're getting more of a feeling, full feeling from the mushrooms than you normally would if you cook them. Because when you cook them, then you cook them down a little bit. So, but if you prefer to have yours cooked, that's okay. You can still add it to here. You just want to make sure everything is cooled off because it's just going to be a cold salad. If you're prepping it, you want to definitely make sure it's cooled off. Alright, so that's my mushrooms. Now I'm going to add on a couple of these tomatoes, maybe about 2 of them. This one's huge, so I'm going to put it in a different one. So a couple of these just to add some color to it. You can add it in the middle, you can add it on the side. You just kind of got to play around with where it fits. I'll do 2 different colors. Just add some color to it. 1, 4, 6. Yeah. Enough for the other one. And now my zucchini. I'm going to get some tongs to put my zucchini on there. Again, the zucchini is kind of like you getting the sprouts. You got, with me, I just spiralize my zucchini, and this is 3 zucchini. You can chop yours up. That'll make it easier for you to measure it out. But if you don't chop it up, then you got to do like me, use some tongs and kind of eyeball it a little bit. So I'm just gonna add it on there. And this should be enough for 6 bowls because 3 zucchini, half of a zucchini goes for each bowl. Only thing about not measuring, you're not gonna have like an even amount in each bowl, but zucchini is really low in calories, so I don't I don't really mind if everything is not so perfect with the measurements of zucchini. But if you want to be super precise, then you can put this in a measuring cup so that you can be super precise with your numbers. But I don't think this is going to throw it off too much. Now, I do recommend you do weigh out your proteins. You do weigh out your carbs, like quinoa, because it's so heavier, versus the zucchini that's super light. It's not going to really add a lot of calories to your meal. It's a low calorie vegetable. Okay, that's that. I think I might have put too much in this one. I just look like, oh, that's a lot. Okay. All right, so now you're gonna add on your sprouts. You're gonna add on your tofu. Now, you can cook your tofu or you can just eat it just like this. It really just depends on how you want to do it. Either or would be fine. Like the cooked tofu would be fine, or the non-cooked tofu would be fine. It's not gonna hurt. The cooked tofu, of course, is gonna be more prep time because you gotta cook all of it. But the non-cooked tofu, you ain't gotta worry about it. You just put it on there. So I'm just gonna add this to the middle. And it's a mix of sprout and microgreens. So as you can see, it's not even a cup. It's probably about 1/4 cup, and that's a mix of those two. So you're probably looking at about 15 calories for these two together. So I'm gonna have to go back and change some stuff in my Fitness Pal, because I think I put like 1/4 for each one, but it's probably just 1/4 together. So probably like 1/8 all together. We'll make out separately 1/8 and then 1/4 or cup together. All right, so that's everything at my spring mix. I have my tomatoes. I also have my mushrooms, my zucchini, my quinoa, and now I'm gonna add on my tofu, which I have some tofu already marinated in the refrigerator, so I'm gonna use that also. But for this, this actually goes on one bowl. So 182 grams per bowl. So this is gonna make the bowl like really high in calories. And you wanna put that like on the side, or choose the side to put it on. I would recommend buying a bigger bowl, because my bowls, I think they're 24 ounces. Actually, I think they're 22 ounces. because my old meal prep bowls were like 32 ounces and they were out of them, so I had to get like this small version. So I'm gonna add my tofu on here wherever it can fit. And pack your food like really tight. I'm gonna taste one. Yeah. So the good thing about it too is that you have the marinade on there, and then you're gonna allow this to sit. And option to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top of it. Just do not go crazy with the sodium, because you're gonna have sodium from everything that I'm gonna be adding into this dish. So there you go. That's your meal for lunch, and that's your meal for dinner. I'm gonna meal prep the rest of these, and then I'm gonna come back and show you how it looks. All right, so now as you can see, all of the meals are done for the week. This is gonna be lunch, this is gonna be dinner. Some of the meals I made strips of tofu, and then some of the meals I made blocks of tofu. So I'm gonna let you see how it look up close, and so that you can see how beautiful these dishes look, how colorful they are. Feel free to add more tomatoes, feel free to change out the different vegetables. And you don't have to make it like this. You can choose to have less tofu, you can choose to have more tofu. Make this into your own. And remember, I gave you the macros for each one of these meals. For the tofu, that's at 30 grams of 30 grams of protein. And when I calculated the whole meal, actually wrote it down, we have 239 grams of carbs, 44 grams of fat, and 138 grams of protein. And since I didn't measure it out, some of that might be a lot lower, because when I was doing my sprouts and my microgreens, I was using less. And then for the zucchini, I had originally wanted to do a cup, but I ended up going with half a cup. So these meals are going to range between 1,600 calories and 1,800 calories. Now I'm going to share with you how to make a low calorie dressing, but first I want to show you how these delicious meals look up close. Look at my delicious meals for the week. Don't they look so great? And I am all set for the week. All right, so now I'm back. I'm gonna share with you how to make a 0-calorie dressing. You're gonna need some vinegar, and I'm using apple cider vinegar. This vinegar has 0 calories, so make sure that you find a vinegar that has 0 calories. And then I'm gonna have mustard. I'm using German mustard. This is a Whole Foods brand, and it has 0 calories. And then you're gonna need some paprika. And if you like, you can add some different herbs. The herbs that I'm going to be using are parsley, rosemary, oregano, and sage. And so what I did was I grabbed some herbs from my garden and I just grinded them up. So this is probably about 2 tablespoons of fresh herbs. This is just to add some more flavor, but you don't have to do this. You actually can just go with the vinegar and the mustard, okay? So you're gonna need some vinegar, and you're needing about 8 tablespoons of vinegar. And y'all, it's kind of late, so if you hear different noises, it's late. I have my dishwasher on now, and we're doing laundry. apple cider vinegar is really good for the body. As you can see, they say it's perfect to take 2 to 3 times a day, and actually has like some information on the back of it. And this is just Bragg's apple cider vinegar. So you can actually take that every single day. Now you're going to need 1/4 teaspoon of mustard. Not 1/4 teaspoon. You're actually going to need, because I'm making like 4 times this recipe. So that's the reason why my math is like, kind of like, I'm trying to think of how much math we're going to need. So I'm going to just go with the paprika for now. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of paprika. And now you're gonna need a teaspoon of mustard, okay? And I'm just adding all this to a mason jar, so what I can do is just shake it up. And then just add this in here. Feel free to add a pinch of salt if you want. And there you go. This will be your dressing to go with your meals for the week. Now what you want to do is just do 1 tablespoon of this to go on top, and then you can add some sauerkraut. I'm going to add some sauerkraut to mine, or you can add some kimchi, whatever that you have in the refrigerator, but I'm adding that so I won't have to use as much dressing. I'm going to add my kimchi, I'm going to add my sauerkraut, and then I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of this dressing. Since it is 0 calories, you can go crazy with it. You can add 2 tablespoons of this, and it is all free. So that's the beauty of it. But that is my 3 meals for the week. I'm choosing to use the same meal for lunch and for dinner. And then my breakfast is going to be a totally different meal. This is a protein-packed macronutrient and micronutrient meal. It has a variety of different nutrients in it, and so that your body is going to really feel really great after eating these meals, because it has so many different vitamins and minerals that your body needs to survive and to have the energy to fuel your day. And so I'm going to be doing more high-pack protein meals, because I know a lot of people, they question like, can they eat enough protein? Can they do this when they're weight training? You can do the vegan diet where you're weight training. Essentially, you need to make sure that you're eating a variety of different meals in each, a variety of different ingredients in each meal. So for breakfast, you want to always make sure you're eating a variety of different nutrients. For lunch and dinner, and that's going to ensure that you're able to recover whenever you're doing your workouts, and you're able to build the muscles that you want to build, and your body just able to use the fuel that you need for your workouts and to heal your body after your workouts. And so these are really great for whether you're training or if you're not training. These are great meals either way. Feel free to cut the serving size of the quinoa. I did a cup of quinoa per meal. And so what you can do is you can cut that in half and do half a cup of quinoa. Feel free to cut the tofu amount in half and the mushroom amount in half, because that does add to the protein contents. Like I said, mushrooms are low in calories, so you can actually cut down the tofu and just add an additional amount of mushrooms. So feel free to play around with this. I hope you really enjoyed it, and this is just my meals for the day. If you like this meal prep video and you'd like me to do another video, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I love you guys. Bye.